This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for the morning of Sunday, the 20th of October. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, what happened on ES last week? Well, we went up a bit more. We've got a nice looking double top, which I was looking at in my post on Thursday, I think. And it hasn't played out, and I was saying it might well not play out. But we've got a nice little setup if we are going to see some retracement, and should Israel bomb Iran today, then who knows, maybe it will happen. But otherwise, I have my doubts. Looking at NQ, obvious target up at a retest of this high, which we haven't seen yet. No current negative divergence there either. On RTY, we've still got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and we've got a potential little level top, or it might just be a bull flag forming. We've made the when we were breaking up from this flag setup and had the double bottom, I was saying that was probably going to make target, and it did, and it has. All right, I'm looking at YM. YM, we had a little 60-minute sell signal on Friday morning or Thursday morning, and we went down, pretty much made target on that, and then rallied from there. We've got a nice looking potential nested double top here. I have my doubts about it playing out, but nonetheless, it is there. On DAX, we've retested the high. We've got a nice overall double top set up, and we've got a nicer short-term double top set up. Again, I have my doubts. On the bigger picture, that does appear to be breaking up. On ESTX, this actually had a much larger retracement than DAX. This looks like an overall bull flag forming, though chances are it's going to resolve up into a retest of this high here, just over 5,100. Okay, let's have a look at these on the bigger picture charts. Now, I've got something new to show you today. I had a request a few weeks ago to switch over from using NDX to QQQ because it would give more exact numbers for like options trades and so on and so forth. And I've given this a bit of thought. There's a bit of work to do it, so I didn't do it immediately, but it struck me that actually exactly the same argument could be made for SPX to SPY and Dow to the diamond. So I've actually, on the bigger picture charts, I've left them on the indices because for my longer term trend lines, and divergences, I would rather use those. On the shorter term, everything daily and under, I've switched over to the ETFs. So see what you think, and I can start using both or switch back, etc., depending on what the feedback is. But at the moment, I've made the change, and I suspect it's a good change, which more people will find useful than not. So we shall see. So anyway, so today, for the first time in God knows how long, I'm looking at SPY on the 15-minute. It looks almost identical, really, on the dailies and going down. So trend lines are the same, patterns are the same, everything pretty much is the same. The numbers are slightly different. So here we've got a no current divergence. We've got a nice looking wedge here, and it is a nice looking wedge. And I was saying on the post on Thursday that it's a very nice looking wedge, and that I'd been seeing stuff on Twitter saying this is a nice looking wedge and it's overthrowing, and yes, and obviously I've been talking about this wedge for weeks. I have doubts about this delivering anything, but if it does, it's going to deliver. This double top will play out and will deliver a move below the daily middle band. Looking at the hourly chart, no current divergence, and on looking on the daily chart, which is on SPY now, and that means that the new weekly pivots that I'm doing are on SPY. We've got SPY, Qs, diamonds, and IWM. And so the new weekly pivot is at 58309. The existing weekly pivot is at 56209. I'm posting these pivots on both the bigger picture and my Charting the Market Substack, so you can easily get all the weekly pivots every week. And we've got still an RSI 5 sell signal fix, which similarly hasn't failed. If we see a break up from here, I've got this trend line here, which would be the obvious next target, and I've got that currently in about the 605 area, I think. So we'll see how that goes. All right, looking at the ES chart, looks pretty much the same. Obviously, we've made new all-time highs. We'll see. All right, looking at NDX on the weekly chart, getting pretty close to a retest of the high at 20.7. Switch to the Qs there. The retest of the high would be at 502.81, and the highest we reached last week was 498.83. New weekly pivot is at 49362. Existing monthly pivot is at 47644. Looking at the 15-minute chart, no current divergence, but obviously we've got a pretty nice looking wedge there, and we've got another one of those on Dow stroke Dire, which has already reached the trend line. It hasn't overthrown like the others, but there's no actual target back up at this nice resistance trend line, because of course we've already hit it. The next obvious target within the wedge would be this wedge support currently in the 416 area, but again we're thin on negative divergence apart from the existing daily sell signals on Dow and SPX, stroke Dire, and Dire and SPY. This is the setup to go down was a lot better 4 weeks ago, and we had a nice bearish window in front of us into the end of October 4 weeks ago, which of course we don't have now. I'm wondering whether we might break up directly. It might be that with a prod from geopolitics we'll see a retracement here. We'll see, but at the moment Israel has been slow to retaliate against Iran, and if it does retaliate against Iran, it does look as though they're probably going to avoid hitting anything which will affect oil production, because that will upset the US, rightly. All right, IWM, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal that's reached the possible near miss target. Hasn't quite reached the retest of this high here at 227.85, and that is an open target above. Looks like a short-term bull flag forming. On the hourly chart, we've actually got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed here, so I'm watching that with interest. We might see some retracement here, and as I said, we do have some nice topping patterns on the other indices, albeit small ones. On DAX, this is starting to look like a breakup. Obviously, we had a nice looking double bottom. Now it is continued higher. This is double top. This is now no longer a nice looking double top. Sooner or later, we're going to see a retracement here. There's not much sign that's going to be now, and we haven't got any negative divergence on the daily. On Nikkei, we have gone a little higher. If we aren't going to see a sizable retracement on equities, then the next obvious target really here is a retest of this high here at 42.4. We shall see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at the DX chart. Bear with me a second. Okay, DX, we are seeing a little weakness here. I have this nice looking support trend line here, which was a 3-touch and has broken down. We haven't retraced much. We had a 6-minute sell signal, 2 fails, and 1 finally made target eventually, but it's made the possible near miss target. But at this point, I'm disregarding it. We finished the week just above the new weekly pivot at 103.23. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little more retracement here. But at the moment, there's not a setup which is really looking for an awful lot. Looking at ZB, ZB has basically come back and retested this low. It's not quite made it, so this isn't a nice looking double bottom here. I am wondering if we might find support in this area for a larger rally. At the moment, it is too early to say. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on those, and let's have a look at DX. Okay, DX, no current divergence, but if we were to see a retest of the high, we can set up nice looking possible RSI 14 and RSI 5 daily sell signals pairing. I am wondering whether we might see that. Am I thinking we might go higher? Yes. I was talking quite a while ago about the possibility that we might reach target up here in the 104.1 area, which we got fairly close to, although at the moment we are pausing at the 200 DMA at 103.62. And if we can get through the 200 DMA, there is a very obvious trendline resistance above, which I've got in about the 104.6 area. Could this be a bull flag? Absolutely not. It is way too large. Could it be a nice looking falling megaphone? Yeah, it could. And when we first made this trend line here, and when we were making this low, I was talking about the possibility, having had a very nice trend line form here, that, of course, these trend lines tend to come in matching pairs. For patterns, wedges, megaphones, channels, and the obvious resistance would be here. We're getting pretty close to that, and I'm thinking we may well reach it. We will see. If we see a retest of the current high, set up negative divergence, we could see a hard fail there, but otherwise, I'm still wondering about that. Establishing and putting a third touch on this trend line here. We'll see. All right, looking at TNX. TNX, obviously, we had a sell signal here, it made target. We saw a pullback, and we've come back, and we've almost retested the high. This could be an overall bull flag forming. It could also be that we're going to form a double top and go down. I've got mixed feelings about this because we had a good opportunity to go back and retest this high here, which on TNX is actually at 49.97. We had a good opportunity to go back and retest that, and then we didn't do that. And then since then, we've started cutting interest rates again. Now, inflation looks relatively subdued. We're expecting to see more interest rate cuts. It just seems an odd time to be going back and retesting the highest level that rates have reached since 2008. 2007 actually. So I'm skeptical about saying that, but nonetheless we might. Equally, there may be a longer term change making taking hold here. The US debt has been going up and up and up, as it has for most of the Western countries, and it's now reached 120% of GDP. Now, when it reaches 135%, and it's going to be there in 3 or 4 years, unless there is a significant change in policy, then people tend to start asking for more interest because they're getting more and more skeptical about actually getting the money back. Now, there's an impact here because, US dollar is the reserve currency, and maybe that won't be as much of an issue, but I'm just saying, if the market is becoming more aware of the risk in holding US bonds, then actually maybe we will see that retest and possibly higher. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at oil. Now, oil, we've got, hang on. Right, I've rolled both CL and NG into December. Oil looks almost identical, and we've got a 60-minute bicycle fix that hasn't made target yet, but I'm thinking in the absence of a geopolitical troubles, then I've got an open triangle target in the 63.5 area, and we may well head back to that. From this rally, we've actually dropped $9 already. We don't need to go down another 5. It's not a huge distance. We're touching the monthly pivot at 68.14. That is support at the moment. Maybe that'll hold, but I've got an open target in the 63.5 area, and Middle East permitting, I've got no particular reason to think that isn't going to make target. NG, well, this has gone down a lot. Now, the first thing I would mention is, and this is something I've mentioned in terms of NG being a difficult long, is on the roll between between November and December, the NG price went up 0.5. So actually, we've just come down about 0.8 here, and more than half of that was just erased by the roll into NG December. Now I'm thinking it's probably going to continue going down. I've still got a target at 2.1. Obviously, we were pretty close to it on the November contract. We'd got down into about the 2.25 area, and we have now gone a large distance away. I'm still expecting that to make target. But we will see how it goes. But I would note we've got another roll like that on the January, which will go up another 0.3. After that, it's stable or declining for the next few months in terms of the rolls at the moment. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on those. Right here. Let's have a look at oil. Oil, no current negative divergence or positive divergence. We're back below the daily middle band, and I'm wondering if the Middle East will permit, because this basically was all Middle East trouble on this rally. Bigger picture outside Middle East trouble that I've been reading is that there is a glut in oil. And looking at the chart, I can well believe that, and I'm wondering about a retest of this target here at 63.57, which is the target for this triangle breaking down. Now, of course, we have another triangle here, and I'm planning to do another post today on that. That can't be seen on this chart, but on the Nat Gas Index chart, you can see it, and it's nice. And this is something I posted a few weeks ago when Nat Gas was here, talking about the possibility that Nat Gas might continue to form this triangle, and it has continued to form this triangle. I'm leaning towards seeing 2.1 next, then rally up to maybe 2.5, and if the triangle continues to play out, then we should go back, we should break down and go and revisit 1.52. That may well be setting up the second low on a large double bottom, which then on a sustained breakup over 3.16 would be looking for a target in about the 4.6 area. We will see how that goes. 4.7 area, I think, actually. I think that might be what we see play out over the next few months. And this might be a very interesting, although cautious for the obvious reasons that one's always cautious playing natural gas. long for next year. This might be one of the key longs for next year. We will see. What could happen on oil? Well, I have to say I'm cautiously bullish after we've made this low. Into next year, we'll see how it goes. All right, looking at GC now. GC has been taking advantage of a little bit of retracement on the dollar to thrust higher. I've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing. I've actually got a little negative divergence on the index chart too. How seriously am I taking that? Not particularly. Really, we've gone through pretty much all of the trend line resistance. I can come up with more trend lines, a couple maybe, but really, we're starting to see blue sky above, and that means we could do things like go off to 3,000. I'm not seeing an awful lot in terms of serious resistance. On SI, I was talking about a retest of this high here at 33. That was achieved with great enthusiasm when we made it up to 33.925. Might see a retracement soon. Certainly looking very overbought on the 60-minute RSI. HG, we had a wedge, it broke up, we formed a larger wedge, and that has broken up. We've got a nice looking potential level bottom here. This has legs, and it's a nice looking pattern. I'm thinking that we might actually see a generalized move up on metals, which on copper would have an obvious target to retest this high here at about the 4.79 area. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at the metals charts. On GC, no current divergence. RSI not tremendously stretched by historical standards. On the gold index chart here, this is a potential double top, but there's nothing to suggest it's going to deliver anything. On the daily chart, we do now have a possible daily RSI 14 sell signal brewing. We still have potential trend lines, resistance trend lines that I'm working through, but there's nothing really to say that we aren't going to go considerably higher than this. All right, looking at silver, no divergence on that either. On the index chart, we've gone back and we finally retested this high here at 32.75. Nice to see. What's the pattern setup looking like on the bigger picture? Well, we are breaking over this key resistance trend line that I've been watching, and that opens up the next decent resistance trend line, which would be up in the 37.5 area. I'm thinking we may well be heading for that next, but I was wondering if this would hold because we've been testing it for a long time now. Looking at palladium, I was saying a couple of days ago when I was asked about this on the pre-market video that I was still liking a retest of this high here at 1126.50. Not seeing anything at all to suggest that isn't going to happen. On platinum, almost up to a retest of 130.80. Liking this higher as well. I would note that once we get above that, then I've still got a possible double bottom target in about the 107.8 to 108.1 area. And I still think we've got a pretty good chance of making that. All right, looking at copper, no current divergence on the RSI 14, but we've got a weak RSI 14 buy signal, which is fixed on the daily chart. Liking the upside there. Also got that on this chart here, but I mean as buy signals go, it's a very modest one. But we are bouncing off the 50 DMA. We have a nice looking flag set up, and that flag set up can have a target on a break up at a retest here of 4.79. I'm quite liking that. GDX has gone higher, and we've broken the resistance trend line. That is opening up the upside. Nothing really on the hourly chart at the moment. GDXJ has also broken its resistance trend line. Like the wedge on SPX, this could be a bearish overthrow. It's just that I don't think it is. So we will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at the other commodities. So let's have a look at KC. Still looking. I still think this is a head and shoulders. A double top which is broken down and is rejecting back up into the high. That gives us a target back at a retest of 2.75. Short term, this looks like a little bull flag forming. We will see. All right. Looking at SB. SB looks like an overall bull flag for me. CC, still liking the upside here. I would note we've got a little head and shoulders here, which is trying to break down towards a retest of the low here at 68.50, and it may well be that we're going to see that next. Bigger picture, I think we've probably got more to do on the upside. Shorter term, not looking so great. CT, I was saying if it went any lower, we were going to lose the possible bull flags up. Hasn't gone lower so far. Nice looking double bottom set up here. If we see a sustained break up over 72, then that will probably take us up pretty close to the highs here. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at wheat. Wheat, nice looking flag here. Could be a bullish underthrow. Liking the upside. Corn, broken up from a little level bottom here. Still liking the upside. This has been a pretty stiff retrace afterwards, though it could be rejecting back into the low. On soy, still setting up a low retest here. I would note, well, I've got more to say about these on the bigger picture charts, about possible retests of larger lows. Lumber, looks like a bull flag forming. Live cattle, looks like a bull flag forming, and lean hogs looks like a possible level top, but nothing really suggesting that this isn't going to go higher. All right, let's have a look at these on the bigger picture charts and on KC. KC, nice support down here, which will actually quite hit. But if we can break up back over the daily middle band, then I'll be looking really for a retest. First of this high here at 2.6415, then a retest of this high here at 2.705. On sugar, we've got decent looking bull flag here. It needs to break back over the daily middle band, which is still holding as resistance. CC, no current divergence. I am wondering if this might be part of an overall head and shoulders, but I have to say it doesn't look right in terms of where it came from. Nice looking pattern. It's just not in the right place. On wheat, I am wondering about a break up towards these targets here. I'm concerned about a possible breakdown. Still looks like a flag, but if it is a flag, it needs to be turning pretty damn quickly. On corn, we had a nice looking little level bottom, which is broken up. If we continue down, we could be looking for a retest of this low here at 385. On soy, I'm wondering about a possible retest of this low here at 955. So we'll see how that goes. Could be setting up some decent rallies if we go and do those low retests, but obviously that would involve a significant amount more downside. On cotton, we've got a possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing. I'm liking the upside here. We'll see how it goes. All right, and that is everything. So, all right, I think that's a wrap. I will catch you guys all next week, and everyone have a great rest of the weekend.